What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Oh my word, Sean. Do you know
what's up?
that there is a celebrity sitting right next to you?
I do. I do. He's right here in the shop.
How about that?
We got Mr. Anthony Lombardo here on the podcast with us for the first episode from the shop.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm here. We had a light day today, so Sean grabbed me. I'm still on the clock for about another hour. So.
Yep. If this goes past 4:30 and
I'm
he
out.
just stops, you'll know why. But yeah, we're here in the shop. You might hear on our end it's a little echoey because in the upstairs, as Max calls it, Daddy's office, there's not much up here yet.
Pretty empty.
It's kind of an empty room.
What you see is that's it.
It's all we got so far, but it's a work in progress. It's pretty nice up here, right?
It is nice. Turned out nice. Turned out real nice.
Yeah, not too bad.
I haven't seen it since it was just, studs and plywood. Now it looks finished.
Yeah.
Real good.
You got some climate control going on in there?
It's very comfortable. Yeah, we got
nice.
nothing. We're not even running the unit upstairs.
I'm overdressed.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Me too. It's, heat rises. So we got the heaters on downstairs. And, he walked right in and said, it's comfortable in here.
Very
62 degrees.
Nice.
A nice 62 degrees. How's it there?
Oh, in my attic?
Yeah.
Probably similar. 62 degrees, I'd say.
Beautiful.
Somewhere around there.
Beautiful. Well, since we have Mr. Anthony Lombardo on this week, we figured we'll talk about the job that we're kind of finishing up right now. We'll talk about leading into the next job. It's, these are our first two jobs of the year, and I think a lot went well on this current job. We've got plans in place for the next job to start off real smooth, in my mind, but we're going to get Ant's take on this.
Yeah.
He probably has some other things to say about it. And, we'll all learn some things that we can. Maybe we'll do an on-air performance review of me.
Anthony and I give you one?
Yeah, I feel like I do that every day with you.
Yeah.
I feel like I give you
You do.
Yeah.
But not everyone gets to hear it.
Oh, shit.
So, What's going on with you, Catherine? How you making out?
Oh, I had a big day. I worked from home today. A lot of computer stuff. I got some stuff done. Just really getting ready for IBS next week.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big trip for you guys.
It is.
Exciting.
It is.
Exciting.
I think that I don't know if you would like it.
Me?
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea, man.
Too much people.
It's not too much people. I mean,
everybody's talking about work. Nobody's doing anything.
I feel like Anthony would love it if no one talked to him and he could actually walk around and see
walk around
things.
and do my thing.
Yeah.
I do like that. Could be one, and then I don't know. It's hard to see, I guess, how I benefit from it, right? Like it's a company thing, and you go there to produce the company, but then I leave and it's like, all right, that was it.
Yeah, back to work.
Back to work.
Yeah,
Work.
True. Yeah, I love that. All right, well, let's just jump into it. Unless you got anything you want to get off your chest.
No.
I
think we got a good episode lined up.
Yeah, I think so too. How do you feel about dryer sheets? We talked about this last week.
Not a fan. I don't believe in them.
Really?
I don't think they do anything.
Yeah, I'm starting to think so too. Since the last episode, I asked Catherine this a week or two ago, and since then I have used the dryer sheets, and I didn't notice anything either. There was no fresh smell. Same.
What about static reduction? People use them as just to get static off of things.
I've never noticed a static.
Yeah, I've never pulled my clothes out and it'd be staticky.
You've never pulled your clothes out of the dryer and they were staticky?
I take them out, give them a good hard shake. They're good as new.
That might be a long hair thing.
That my clothes are staticky when I take them out of the dryer?
Like you notice it because it sticks to your hair. How else would you notice that they're staticky?
They stick to each other.
No.
I don't know. I don't buy into it. I don't believe in them.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in static electricity.
Yeah. No, I believe in static electricity. My fiance uses dryer sheets. I just don't understand them. I've never seen a benefit from them. I don't use them, and my clothes never stuck together. And if they do stick together, I just take them apart. It's not like they're fused
that way
together.
They're stuck.
That's a good point. That's a great point. All right. Well, it's good to know. All right. Well, let's just jump into it. So, this job that we're really on the last stages
Punch
of
list.
it right here.
Let's
List.
use a good industry term. We're on the punch list.
We're on the punch list. We're supposed to get the countertop installed today, but little hiccup.
Oh, what's the hiccup?
Wrong size.
Wrong. Yeah, it's like 4 foot too short.
Interesting.
Yeah. So loaded it back onto the truck and
Away it went.
Yeah.
We're gonna design the next kitchen off of these measurements, and we'll be good as new.
Perfect.
So that didn't get punched off the list today. That's still on the punch list.
Good to know. I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah. Other than that, we're really onto the punch list. A couple last minute things that you guys are going to kind of button up while we're at IBS next week. And a couple of different things that we did on this project was, number one, subbing out the demo and the excavation to get us ready to get started. And that was something that we've never done before. How do you think that went from your perspective?
From my perspective, I think it went a little too well. I think for us as a company and what we do, we build decks. We don't, demo isn't our thing and stuff like that. It's not that we can't do it. I just don't think the company benefits from us doing it to where it's having this guy come in and give us just like a clean slate, and we can just move forward. It just was a better start. I think it was just a clean start to a project.
So why did it go too well? Sounds like it went just right amount of well.
No, man, I was very happy. It was like I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
And okay, you're not used to being happy on the
sure,
job site.
Especially on the start of a job site. Usually, the start of the job site, I get there and it's more of a headache because we don't even nobody knows what they're doing, and then you got to start playing Puppet Master for everybody, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and then this was wow. I walked in the backyard and it was oh, let's just start working.
Yeah. This one, so we had everything demoed, and it was a little bit of a trickier demo because it was cutting away a concrete slab, partially excavating around that. It was really tight. The guy that we subbed it out to, he had all the right machinery to get it done efficiently, get in and out, get the stone in there for our base, and we could just start right up. So by the time we got there, that was all done. The helical piles were installed. So we were just framing day one, and I think you put that in a good way. It doesn't benefit us to do it so much because you're a pretty big demo guy, you're a pretty big guy.
Sure.
But I think your skill set is better suited to, let's get you on some carpentry right away.
Sure.
Let's not waste it away on some demo.
I mean, it's little, you always want to use examples, right? If you have a painter coming in to paint your house, when he shows up, he just wants to paint. He doesn't want to move all the furniture to prep for painting. So as a homeowner, if you move all that furniture for him and he walks into an empty house and he can just start painting, he's going to be in a better mood. You're going to get a better product. It's just going to go a lot smoother. So for you hiring that demo company and doing all that things, it was pretty much like having a homeowner clear the house out.
It's a great analogy.
You can just show up and work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
with this demo, it was cutting away concrete, and they did a great clean job. I feel I'm always worried if it's demo of a deck that they're gonna do as clean of a job. Anthony has a certain standard of things that he likes to be, to a certain way. So having an external company do it, it's always kind of well, are they gonna do it in a clean way, in a good way, in the correct way? With this demo, it was just kind of cutting some concrete, which is kind of out of our skill set because we don't really have the proper machinery to do it, but it seems like it would be just simpler than like demoing a deck and leaving a clean job.
That's where I would, a lot of pressure falls on Sean because he's the one communicating with these guys to where you can tell him hey man, leave the ledger attached to the house, do because everything else is not important in my opinion. But if you got guys that you don't know and they're just gonna just start ripping a ledger off a house, they can do a lot more damage than you're expected to do. To where you can communicate, hey, demo the deck, but leave the ledger, just cut the joists 6 inches and leave everything. We'll come in and clean that up. That's where I would be a little show concern of. Yeah. But at the end of the day, demo's demo. Whatever they do that I guess you could say like a mistake where they went a little haywire, it can all be fixed.
Yeah.
True. And the more that's gone by the time we get there, the better. I mean, we're set up a little bit better now that we've got the dump truck and we can, get stuff loaded, but still for like a big demo, it makes sense to, instead of load up the dump truck 3 times or whatever, get somebody in there to demo it that will either load up their dump truck 3 times and get rid of it so we can just show up and work, or get a dumpster and we're not like, our hours are better to be billed out doing what we do best.
Yeah.
Which for me, I don't know what that is for me, but I know what it is for Ant, and that's doing carpentry.
Yeah.
And it's just, we build decks. We don't demo decks. We don't, we build patios. We don't demo patios. And I think, hey, you did this. This job was the first one, right?
Yep.
The next one's gonna be the second one. I'll tell you what, you're 1 for 1, batting 1,000, because you schedule it so well that the guys are there. Like, these guys are going to start demoing this next project, and we're still working on the current one. So that's where like you're making your money. You got 2 things going on at once.
So you're saying I did a good job?
You're doing a great job so far.
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
High praise.
You started out
Amazing.
right out of the gate. You started out really well.
Amazing. All right. Well, okay. So that was one thing that we did a little bit different on this job, was subbing that out. Overall, though, so the other, actually, the thing that we did different was you did the whole takeoff.
Yeah.
For this job. How do you think that went?
I think it went well. I mean, if you look at our job site right now, like the extra material that's left, I mean, it's minimal.
Yeah, I added those extra like 8.
I'm always going to be anxious about like when you have me do a decking takeoff, because there's no plan for our jobs. There's no detail set in stone to where it's like, hey, the bar is going to be 36 inches tall and the deck boards are going to run vertical. I can't do that, because we might get to that bar and you might change it.
It's true. Yeah.
So when doing decking takeoff, I'm always anxious about, but usually like the framing, it's pretty straightforward. I just need to ask you a couple details, like what we're doing. And, I have a good system with how to build everything, and then, go from there. But I think we did a good job with that takeoff.
Yeah. Especially the framing. The framing was pretty much dead on.
Yeah.
The only thing extra we have is all those 6 by 6s.
I think that was just like, you didn't really want to measure the retaining wall, and you just said, you know what, send 50. And now we have 56 bys, instead of like sitting down and being like, all right, it's 20 feet this way and 20 feet this way, and it's gonna be 4 rows high. Like, you didn't want to do that. Send 50.
I ordered 8 too many. And now we have those, and we're gonna have to move them. But hey, other
That's
than
no big deal. 6 bys a universe. We'll use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that went really well. And how did you feel like that helped you like just get ready for the job? Like, you had to put your mind in the project to do the takeoff before we got there. Do you feel like that helped you?
Tremendously. My when I look at these projects, sure, there's blueprints and Sean offers the 3D renderings, but I look at the 3D renderings first and I kind of work backwards. I like to think of how the finishes are going to go and how to get to that finish. And when I'm able to sit down and concentrate, not feel pressure, right? You allowed me to do it on company time instead of at home and at night. I just felt real confident going into this project that I knew every detail. There really wasn't something that I wasn't confident about building. There's always going to be a few things every project you're going to throw a curveball in, and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. You're going to do it different, which I understand. But other than that, the foundation of this deck and all the simpler details, I think, were just handled very well.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, I think it also helped that, because sometimes we're kind of rushing at the end of a project and we're trying to knock out all the details, and then it's we get to the next job, and if I've done the takeoff, then it might be your first time, the first day on the job, really
seeing the
kind of
project,
wrapping your head around it. So, it definitely, I could see how it helps you a lot, a week ahead of time. You just did the takeoff for the next job last week, so you got to put your mind into the project already, really kind of and now it's there, so you can kind of
I'm already geared up. This project, I think going into it, I'm more confident than the last one. And it's not to knock you, but these
you can go ahead.
they're simple to me, right? Like I don't look at these. Like a lot of people look at the bells and the whistles and like the design, and it's crazy. Like I look at it as just like big squares. Like I'm building a square, I'm building another square. The details are like dictated by that square. So like whatever square we're building, the detail will follow it. This one, like I don't have a single question about any design or detail that you put into this project to where I'm scratching my head yet.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah. I think that's a good way that you put it, because people are always saying like, how'd you figure out how to build this kind of stuff? And I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're building now, like the roofs and everything like that, you kind of came with that experience to like,
sure,
make us able to like really push ourselves in that direction. But like when you boil it down, like when I was just doing deck stuff with like different designs, people were like, how'd you learn how to do this? And it's like all of the basics of it are still just like, it's really simple. It's just like, okay, we built a deck and now like we're just putting in detail. So putting in a little bit extra blocking, but like nothing's changed. It's just like, all the stuff that you see on top isn't really the structural stuff. So then it's just like, I don't know, use your imagination, do whatever you want, and then figure out where do you need to put blocking, all that kind of stuff. But like the structure of the deck is still the same, whether it was completely plain or it's got this crazy inlay on it. You're just adding some extra blocking. So I think people like see the finished product and they're like, oh, that seems complicated. It's like, just take it one step at a time. It's really, when you boil it down, it's all just back to the basics. So
like I would say this job that we're wrapping up would be one of the most difficult projects we've done. And the reason being is because it's 3 different levels.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with 3 different levels, you just have minor tolerances. Like you can't be off a ½ inch. You can't be off an inch because that throws off your steps and everything else, and the squareness of, how we like, if the steps land here, are they going to run in line with the deck boards? Like, are we going to see that it's 2 inches off? Like that's to me, that's the difficult stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not seeing like a roof and like stone on a wall and all these crazy details. It's just like the next deck is 1 level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. Another thing I want to talk about during this project, one thing that I became more aware of is I always knew that our brains worked a lot differently. But
you and I?
Yeah. Yep. I always knew that, but I never really...
I thought we were cut from the same cloth.
Oh, we are. 2 ends of the same cloth. 2 ends. We're 2 peas in a pod, but
right.
You ever open a pod and both peas look exactly the same? No, they're both different.
Okay.
But they're in the same pod.
I feel like maybe you're more like a Velcro.
Oh, that is a great analogy.
You're very different, but together you
who's the
bond
catch?
Together.
Like how do you describe Velcro?
It's a hook and a
the hook.
It's a hook and a loop, I guess you'd call it.
I would say the scratchy and the soft one.
Yeah, what's that? I think we know.
I'm the scratchy one.
Yeah. All right,
the most important one.
They're both important. You need both. Anyway, all right. So yeah, one thing that made me very aware and like kind of put it into perspective is when two things. Okay. During this job, we did our, or maybe it was right at the end of the last job, we did our company holiday party. Okay. We went skeet shooting.
Sure.
And we're just going skeet shooting. It's like, I don't know, 18 stations or 20 stations or whatever it was. And, we're just having a good time. But you took it upon yourself to like give everybody a job. And it was like really it was really paining you that like we weren't doing it in the most efficient way possible. Like, okay,
yes.
We're out of the carts. We're at the new station. Give him the controller. He's going to take the ammo out of the thing, put it over here. You're up first. Go ahead. Hand this person the thing. And then when it's my turn to go up, I have to hand off the controller to somebody else. And you were like just orchestrating the whole thing. And it was almost like you were enjoying that part of it. Like trying to like maximize
I was
efficiency.
Enjoying it. I was doing it because it was paining me to watch you guys.
But that helped put it into perspective that you just Like you are looking at like when you're going to build something, or you're going to go skeet shooting, or you're going to do your laundry. You're just like thinking in efficiencies.
Yeah.
Like you're like, this is the task. Let's try to like, what are the steps that are, what system can we put in place to make this as easy as possible?
That's right. Like that, what you just said at the end of that sentence is how I like to live my life. As easy as possible. I don't like to do things and be aggravated.
Yeah.
I don't know why I come to work here every day, but I do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you chose the wrong job.
Yeah. I wish that I want to be like that, but I'm just not. I don't know why I can't be like that. Maybe it's just because I say that I can't. That I'm limiting myself by doing that. You know, not with that attitude kind of thing. But the other thing that put it into perspective was when you kind of ran through your morning routine and how
like my everyday life.
Your everyday life. How it's just like it's exactly the same every day, and like your whole household just like moves in this like choreographed dance. Yep. Everybody's out the door at the same exact time. I can't really do that. I mean, there's parts of my morning that are like the same. Like if I go to the gym, I wake up at the same time, I go there, but then like I don't know. I wish that I could do that and I could just stick to the same thing. Like, okay, now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make my eggs, and then I'm going to put this glass over here, and then that's when I go wake Max up. Like you have it figured out to like the minute.
Everything I do is dialed in. Everything. It's a gift and a curse. I think the gift part is usually everything I do, I'm able to be relaxed and perform that task. And with usually doing that task, I don't have to think about that task. I can think about something else in my life that needs to be focused on. The curse thing is it's hard for me to like relax when I see everybody else just like dilly-dallying around with no direction. No direction.
Yeah. I understand that more now. I feel like I got a better snapshot of how your brain works. And I think you also got maybe not a better snapshot of how mine works, but one thing you said that stuck out to me is I don't know how you go about figuring this out. But the end product looks nice. I just have no clue.
Idea how you got there.
Yeah. Like I trimmed out those columns and the framing on each one was a little bit different.
Everything was different.
A little bit, because I'm looking for efficiencies on each one. I'm like, how can I do the next one a little bit easier?
Still, like, how many are there? There was what, 4?
3.
3? There was only 3?
Yeah, but they were complicated. You know, there was a lot of, it was multifaceted. But yeah, there was only 3.
Oh. It was hard to see any similarity in any of the 3. Like, there was no, like, all right, I did this one this way. This worked, this didn't. So when I do the second one, I'm going to take the things that worked and do something else. No, they just look different. And then the third one, I'm like, I don't even know who did the third one, because you couldn't have done the third one because they don't look like anything like the other 2.
But the finished product
hey, they look great.
Yeah, they look nice now. Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's hard for me to, unless I like sit down and draw something out and write it up, it's hard for me to like really work through how I would do something, or like how I could explain it to somebody else. So like, I don't know. That probably wasn't even a good way of explaining it. No, that didn't make any sense. But I don't know. My brain just doesn't work like that.
I would like to hear Catherine's point of view from the outside looking in, how our 2 personalities like work and could not work together.
I do feel like they complement each other in a nice way, but I can see how it would be frustrating for both of you. But I think that you need like if like let's say this company was 6 Seans.
Sure.
Like it would be
I don't even think about it.
I'm not sure what would happen. And if it were 6 Anthonys, I feel like we would have like
everybody would be miserable.
Well, everyone would be very focused. I don't. Miserable, maybe.
Work here.
But it would be like very dialed in. I feel like that company would have like 3 crews. Everyone would know exactly what was expected of them. It would be very dialed in and very strategic, but not a lot of like laughter. There's no room for like laughter or like spur of the moment creativity.
Sure, yeah.
So there's no changing. You're not changing. So I feel like both of you complement each other, but Also, I can see why that would be very frustrating for both of you. And
Yeah.
I'm right there with you guys. So I see y'all.
It's like any great marriage, with a lot of passion comes,
Rewind. Use a different word.
Relationship.
There you go.
What's another
Colleague.
like any good romance? There's
Back to the Velcro thing. You guys just
there's
stick
a lot
together.
there's a lot of passion, and with the passion on both sides, you're gonna butt heads sometimes and get agitated with each other. But then
I feel like your passion is for Anthony, and Anthony's passion is for the build. So maybe there's some miscommunication there.
There you go.
But,
Yeah.
but both of you are equally passionate about something.
So you can see how it we
It works.
It works.
It works. And sometimes it gets a little frustrating, but it does work. Should we throw Catherine into this too? See, how you're like, where do you think where does your personality fit in?
I feel like I'm halfway between, because I can be very rigid, and I like my things organized. And like today is a great example. You threw a huge wrench in my plan, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill you. But then I was like, whatever, it's gonna be fine. So like when we were going skeet shooting, I planned that whole day. I planned the day beforehand. I was like, this is what it's gonna be. So then once we got there, I was like, I don't have to be in like rigid mode. I was just there to enjoy the ride. And then Anthony took over the rigid road. Like,
everybody get in line. You get in the car.
Get in your cart and go to the next hole. He was very rigid, and that was, he took care of it, which was great. I was able to relax. So I think that I have a bit of the balance, but
yeah, I think you're the mix of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the record, I don't know if like there needs to be somebody like there. I don't think there had to be like a rigid role that had to be filled when we were skeet shooting.
100%.
Well, no, I think we
100%.
would have still been there if we.
Yeah.
We were very
all right. That's a good
on
point.
those first
Sean,
holes.
you're-
We were just kind of like
That's a good point.
dawdling and taking our time, and there was no structure to it. So I do agree.
Yeah, we did get back kind of late anyway, as
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. All right.
Yeah,
Why
and
don't you-
even with Anthony keeping us on track, we still missed the reservation that I had made for us
Yeah.
for lunch. So, like,
That's a good point.
you know,
It's a good point.
Your thing that drives me nuts is when you perform a task, you have to get up, hands on your hips, and look at it and tell yourself like how great of a job you did, which is fine. Everybody needs that. But if you have to do that 30 times, like do it after all 30 are done. Then look at it. You don't have to be like, man, I just put that screw in and look how nice that screw is. Or if somebody's talking to you, or if you hear a word or a sound, you have to stop and like investigate it. Like you can't like just let the sound happen and then think about what that sound
planes,
was.
anything. Yeah.
It's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, I'd say I'm distracted easily.
I don't know if it's distracted. Because you're not distracted from like anything. You're just, I don't know, like you're curious. You're too curious.
Oh, wow.
Real word? I'm gonna start calling you George.
I'm cool with that. That almost sounds like one of those things that like, what's your biggest weakness? I'm too curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost like a strength. But
It's like a nice,
it can get you into
nice
trouble.
way to
like
say,
Curious George.
like, yeah, I don't know.
It's a nice way of saying I'm like a toddler.
Yes,
I know what you were gonna say. All right.
a child.
And I take that as a compliment because children have such a just, they see the
Just boundless
Fascinated by it.
curiosity.
they're fascinated by everything.
Like I'm always curious when I'm on this job site because there's times where I'm like, hey Sean, why don't you go do X, Y, and Z? And in my mind, I'm performing my task, but I told Sean to let's just say cut me a 2x4, and like my mind registered like I should be hearing a saw by now, and I'm not. And then I'm like, I should hear it now, and I'm still not. And then so much time lapsed to where I'm like, why haven't I heard a saw turn on?
That makes
So I
you
have to
curious.
like look around the corner, and here you are, like maybe like talking to Catherine about something. I'm like, Sean, I told you to cut this 2x4.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. All
It
right.
does happen a
Well,
lot. Or you come to the van and you're like, Sean, I need you out here for a second. And then he just continues to sit there. And then I'm like, didn't Anthony ask for you like 15 minutes ago?
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
I think we both are.
I'm working on it. Well, I've been doing better. I'm trying to delegate more. I'm trying to get more off of our plate. Like get somebody else to do the demo, because now I don't have to figure out renting a machine, getting the machine there, getting a dumpster for all the concrete. Like it's just a lot of moving parts that now I don't have to worry about. And when we broke it down and ended up, realizing that it's cheaper to get somebody else to do it. Plus, we can be somewhere else making money.
Yeah.
Like the amount of labor that it costs.
Very proud of that decision you're making. I think it's a smart business move. I'm very thrilled about it.
Wow. Great.
You're doing
Awesome.
great, John.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great
thanks
job.
so much. Appreciate it. All right. Well, we talked about our differing personalities quite a bit. So is there anything from like this project that you think like we really missed the mark on, or we could, really do a lot better or more efficient? I mean, there's always, those little talked about the efficiency.
Yeah.
thing,
It's really hard to tell because this is a tough question because at the end of the day, I appreciate the slow moving of like, I don't want to rush a project because like we have a chance to like hit a certain detail that could really like stand out. I appreciate that. So like to say like, oh, we got to start figuring out the details of everything from a column to a beam wrap to a wall. Like I appreciate that they're not figured out at the start of the job. I like the fact that we have like an idea and we have like some standards that I'm like, all right, that's all I need to know right now. I just need to know like what's the size of the wall. We can build the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think for me on this project, it's hard to see misses, man. Like, I don't know.
We just always hit.
It's not that we always hit. It's just, it's just allowing the time for the details to happen. Yeah. I need to maybe like slow down a little bit more to where like, all right, we're framing the deck. Like I don't need to know about like the roof yet. Like we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Or like the ceiling detail, even though I want to know about it, maybe don't press it so much.
Yeah. I think that the tough thing is like with the job before this, we kind of like we kind of combined a lot of details that we had already done, especially with the pergola, and everything went like really smooth. And I can see how, making certain things like a standard detail, like this is the way we're going to wrap a post 90% of the time.
Sure.
This is how we're going to do something. Like we could become so much more efficient like that. But like our whole thing is like doing stuff different. So it's like, that's kind of a catch-22. We're not going to be able to be as efficient because we want to try different stuff. We want to come up with different ideas, different ways to build a structure or wrap a post or do a decking inlay or something like that. So it's always like, where can we find the balance of, maybe figuring out most of the details before we start and really like sketching out those, it really comes down to those fine details. Like, okay, how is this post going to intersect with the beam? And like, what does that trim detail look like? What's the step detail of the elevations and how everything kind of planes out? Those things could probably be dialed in a little bit more, but it's tough when you don't just have like, this is how we do posts.
Yeah, no. And again, that's why I said, like, I appreciate the creativity of all of our projects. And, we're not building just like a deck with railings and call it a day, where like, we don't need any input from you about like, hey, what this detail is or what we're doing on that. And so I guess like just when I think it's like all I ask from you is when you see the project getting to a point where it's like, you know what? All right, they're getting ready to frame the TV wall. All right, there's like a day or two that they're going to do that. It lights a little fire under your butt to where it's like, all right, let me start figuring out what we're going to do there. Yeah. Is there going to be a fireplace? Are we going to do a mantle? Are we going to do stone? Are we going to do a mix?
Yep. Just kind of staying ahead of where we're at and making sure that the details are dialed in. And I feel like one thing that we did pretty good, like all the material kind of being there when we needed it. Yep. There wasn't a whole lot of delays. So that's always like been our biggest inefficiency is, when a project runs way over, it's usually like, oh, we're waiting on this material. So that's something I think we've been better with dialing in. What was your favorite part of this project? Was it the thing that you recently built?
Oh, the coffee table?
The coffee table.
I think that was definitely a high of this project because I've asked and always wanted to do something for our projects, but time has never allowed it to where this project, the time was there to where I was able to dedicate, I was able to maestro and get, Nick and Jose, doing their thing to where I can step back and just focus on it to where I never felt like I had that time. So being able to create that time on a project to build something. Moving forward is a big plus for me. But to be honest with you, man, just having that dumper truck and getting the trash out when we needed it, that makes me so happy.
Yeah. Nothing like hearing the
That is
purr of
nice.
that diesel. You want to go start it up after this?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah.
So they're my big things. I think moving forward, being able that we're able to control trash, like kind of when we want to.
Yeah.
And if the jobs continue to allow that time to where I can step back and like create something cool for the project, I think, we got some big things to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. And we might be able to build some furniture out of a messed up countertop.
Yeah, there we go.
I told Ren, I said, don't worry about it. I'll pay for the slab. Just drop the slab off at the shop, and now we got a whole slab we can cut up into furniture and shelves. And I was gonna, the podcast studio is a little bit barren right now. I was gonna build a little credenza.
I don't know what a
Okay.
credenza is.
It's like a banquette. It's like a little table, right? It's like a table that goes up against a wall.
Might be like a buffet. Console table.
Those
A
are all the same
console
thing.
table would be
Something you put a TV on.
different, but I think the rest of those things are roughly the same thing.
I like the word credenza.
I feel like it's made up.
I think
All words essentially are made up.
They are.
Yeah.
credenza is definitely where I think a credenza might technically be like taller. Like some things are meant to go. Like a credenza might be for like a food service, so it's like
Okay.
taller. A sideboard, you know what I mean?
She don't
Like this-
know. She doesn't know.
I don't get it.
Yeah. You're just making stuff up, but that's fine. That's
I'll
fine.
Google it right now.
Great. We'll get
What
to
am I
the bottom
googling?
of that.
Oh god,
It's all right. Don't even. Okay. So, yeah, I thought that's like another way that we can, like, just introduce
a dining
something new.
room sideboard or display cabinet, usually made of burnished and polished wood and decorated with marquetry. The top of it is often made of marble or another decorative liquid and heat-resistant stone.
There you go. Yeah, I've used it perfectly.
Yeah, you did.
Credenza. I'm gonna build my credenza back here.
There you go.
So, anyway, I was on a train of thought, and then you came at me with that definition. I do appreciate it. Now we know what a credenza
To come in
is.
with the hot facts. Yeah, sorry about that.
So, moving on to our next project. Oh yeah, now I remember what I was going to say. The coffee table build. So we took scraps of the wall material and ceiling material that we used, and you built this awesome, like, kind of mid-century modern coffee table for the client. And it's another way of like giving the client like this cool, like, kind of surprise thing. It matches the project, obviously. It gives us like something cool and interesting to make content around, and it's just like another way to, like, kind of introduce some creativity into the project. And I think moving forward, like, doing those little type of things, it's just like another avenue that we can, like, express some creativity, because at the end of the day, we're building decks and patios and roof structures. It's, we're always looking for ways that we can kind of reinvent the wheel, do something different. But now that we can maybe introduce like this extra touch, I think that's going to be really cool. And that's what my like 2025 kind of goal is for myself, is to like really dial in some of those like detail things, like not necessarily like building, a bigger project or a crazier project, but really like dialing in like those really cool little details and textures, and like really having the space like look, just like very multi-dimensional. Does that make sense?
I would say little extras.
Yeah, like little extras.
What's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary?
Little extra.
A little extra. Coffee table's a little extra we put in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you make that up? I like that.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. I'm definitely going to use that.
For sure.
Yeah. But like just adding that like extra element into projects that's like one of my goals. I want to get better at that, and like, dialing in like the feature walls and all that kind of stuff to like add that like extra character where it really looks like a design space. What are you laughing at?
Keep saying the word extra.
Oh, do I? Oh, yeah. Well, it's the only thing between ordinary and extraordinary. So,
You just got to carve out the time. You got to like plan
Yeah.
the project out. You got to figure out like when it's slow to where like when somebody can step aside to do something, and stuff like that.
So what are you most looking forward to on the next job, or what do you think that we need to focus on improving or like looking out for potential pitfalls or whatever on the next project?
The next project, I think I'm looking forward to the next project's TV wall. I think we've done enough TV walls, little feature walls, to where I think our minds are going in the right direction to do something like not completely different, but I think we have a nice canvas to do something on. So I'm looking forward to when we get closer to that detail, what comes to life.
Yeah.
And then I guess like not a con, right? Like not something that I'm looking forward to. But like I'm a little curious to see how the pavers go. Kind of been out of the paver world a little bit to where I want to make sure when we get into it, we take our time and we don't rush into it, because we have, I would say like the last few projects we've done, we've had minimal hardscape.
Yeah. The last big patio we did was probably beginning of last summer.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be fun because we got a nice big pool patio. Not crazy big, but I've been really looking forward to the opportunity to do something special with the pavers. Really just do a cool design and kind of make a splash with our first hardscape that we've done.
No, I'm looking forward to it because we haven't done it in a while. I just want to make sure like when we get to it, it's not like go.
Yeah, we'll take our time because we're going to sub out the excavation and some of the base prep to get it dialed in. So we won't have to, we won't have that issue.
Sure. No,
we'll have the time.
It's been missing from our project, so I'm glad to see him back.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Catherine? What are you most excited for on the next project, or what do you think we need to make sure we're like, keying in on to keep us efficient? What do you got for us?
Well, I am excited about this new shift in mentality of like looking for creative things. Like for this job we did, the coffee table we're like, oh, we have this random little space. Let's make a cushion corner for them. Like I like that we're looking for those just like little extra things. And I think that this next build is going to kind of lend to that because it has a lot of different elements. It's got the deck, and then it's got that little side. I don't know what you'd call that.
Credenza. Oh, no. A deck.
Little conversation piece. Little 6x area.
Yeah, the little... the off...
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot
What do we call that? We got to figure out a name to call those little areas.
There's going to be that's like where the dining table's going to go.
Off the deck?
Yeah.
No, it's not off the deck. It's not attached to the deck.
What are you talking about? I don't know. Are you talking about the grill area?
No, I'm talking about like the 6x.
There's a dining table with with 6x, like a shade sail, a decorative wall.
Yep.
It's not attached to the deck.
Yeah.
That's where they're putting their dining table?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But I think there's like an opportunity to get creative there, and I think that we're all in this like fresh mindset of looking for creative opportunities.
Ripe opportunity for us to all butt heads. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, situation. A lot of chefs in the kitchen.
There could be that. There could be that. But I think we thrive in that. I think
so. Yeah.
We all get past it eventually, and we're all better for it.
I just walk away.
Yeah. We all have our own different way of
handling it.
Yeah. It just, will get pissed off and walk away, and me and Catherine will fight with each other, just bicker. And and then, we're all on the same team at the end, and I find it kind of funny and fun, so I enjoy a little bit of
Listen, it creates good banter and it creates good content. And that's that's what we have to give the people.
Yeah. And I have fun doing it. I have fun yelling. Anyway, I'm pretty stoked for the next project, like keeping these things that we kind of dialed in and worked really well in this project, roll them into the next project and keep it moving, and kind of just see how efficient we can be on it, and just kind of knock this one out.
Yeah, I do want to. I don't think that we necessarily do a bad job at estimating how long we're going to be on jobs, but I do think that I would love to get to a point where we're just better at like maybe calendaring these things, because we did a pretty good job this time. I would say we're like 2 weeks later than what we anticipated.
With a lot of travel and all that,
But
kind of stuff, holidays, snow.
Well, I'd say the first thing
course,
I
but
said like we were going to be done by Valentine's Day, and everybody was
Right.
like, "Yeah, no way," and we almost hit it.
That's what I'm saying.
Hit it.
We're like, we're pretty close, and we didn't hit it because of certain things like weather.
Sure.
Which you can't plan weather. I get that, but I do want to be like mindful of like when we say these things, we keep that in mind. And like we knew you would be in Mexico, we knew we were going to IBS. So I don't think that we're necessarily doing a bad job at that, but I do think that there's some room for improvement when it comes to these things. Just being more mindful of just like existing calendar things, and I think we did, like you said, a good job with like getting material there, and there wasn't a lot of backlog for that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we did a bad job at planning, or I don't think there's anything that needs to change, but my mind is always like just making sure we have like the most accurate like estimated end date and start date for the next job.
Yeah.
Because now it like kind of it leaks into the rest of the
project.
rest of our jobs. So
Yep.
it pushes those all back. So I just kind of want to that's like one thing I can think of that I would love to. I don't think we're doing like a terrible job at it right now, but I would love to see
just to
just
bring
being,
it up
like,
on the priority list a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Kind of
have
have
top of mind.
that calendar. Okay, we're 4 weeks in. How we looking on our timeline? But
Yeah.
to be fair, in my defense here, we're pretty much right on my schedule. I figured we would be starting this like right around March 1st. This project was going to be March and April. Then we have a project that's going to be like 4 weeks. And then the next bigger project, I told them we'll be starting right around Memorial Day, end of May. So
you think this next job is going to be 4 weeks?
8 weeks.
no, 8 weeks for this one,
Okay.
March and April.
Making sure.
And then the one after that, there's no roof
That one's
structure.
4 weeks.
That'll be 4 weeks.
Got it. Okay.
And then another like 8 weeker. But I told them
Okay.
starting right around Memorial Day. So I think we can maybe stay on that goal. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think what's helping me from when I first started here till now is being able to estimate when we're going to be done when we start a project, because we've been so good with like getting material there and making sure everything's dialed in. In the past, that was so tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where like we're done a project, but like we don't even have railings.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten so much better at keeping, me, Nick, and Jose always busy.
Yeah.
There's always something to be, moving the project forward with.
Yeah. And we haven't had like, with COVID delays and
Sure,
stuff, it was like if something wasn't in stock, it was like, and it needed to be special order, it'd be like 8 weeks, 10 weeks
Yeah.
or whatever. Like it just, or they'd say, yeah, it's like 3 weeks. And then it's like, oh, where's that thing? Oh, well, it's stuck at the port or whatever. People were saying everything's stuck at the port forever. Are people still saying that? Are things still stuck at the port?
Probably.
I miss those excuses a little bit, Like, it's stuck at
It's
the port.
21 cans in the hole.
Oh, yeah. Or like, if you wanted to get out of doing something, you could just say that you had COVID.
Which
Remember
I
that?
never used, which is one of my biggest regrets in life.
Yeah.
Never got my 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either. I never got COVID until that was all done.
I never got it.
Back then, during the heat of it, people just said it, and they're like, all right, just stay home for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's dishonest.
All right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's why I went to work every
We're
day.
all very honest people. 3 of us were very good at that.
Yeah. There was probably a couple times I had COVID and I just ignored it. I don't like.
Was it really 2 weeks? You were supposed to take 2 weeks?
It was like
If
10
you're sick?
days or something like that.
Yeah, remember? It was like
I
10 days.
don't remember.
That was such a weird time. I
Very
kind of
weird
forgot about
time.
that.
It was a very
That was a weird
quiet time.
Remember some of the jobs that we did, like where there was no traffic on the
Yeah,
roads, like
nothing.
right in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
That was nice. That was kind of nice. But yeah, what a weird time. It was only like a couple years ago, but it seems like just another lifetime.
5
Anyway.
years ago.
Yeah, I guess it was. Anyway. All right. Well, what else we got? We got anything else we want to cover here?
I don't know, Aunt. What are you like beyond the next job? What are you looking forward for, like, let's say the next year? What do you got any goals or any of your personal aspirations for the next year?
I definitely would like to see, I guess, I don't want to use the term like better, but I would like to see more oiled content. Like, I'm not saying we're bad at content, but I would like to see more scripted, more like
More pre-planned stuff?
Yeah, like pre-planned content. I would like to see like a schedule of content for like daily, content, not like our vlogs and stuff like that. So that's tough on everybody's end. Like it's hard for me to like focus on content because I'm so focused on getting the job done. And I'm real big on like genuine content. So like to where that would contradict having planned and, scheduled content. But I think it needs to happen to where we can just keep creating and keep pushing and keep putting it out there. What are some other things?
I like that one. That one's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's really just like watching everybody, right? Like, whether it's Sean or you, Catherine, or Steve or Nick or Jose, it's kind of just, a fault that I have is I'm always watching what everybody's doing. You can ask me at any time of a project, like, what's so-and-so doing? I could probably tell you.
Even
where,
in the van?
yeah. To where it's like seeing people have like those aha moments and like taking initiative instead of asking questions, right? Like if Nick runs into an issue, instead of like running to the van and grabbing Sean or grabbing me, just like I don't want like not use the word courage, more of confidence, having everybody have the confidence of just like taking a task and doing it, because that's how you just get better at anything, to where instead of like being so reserved and like, you know what, I don't want to do this because I don't know how Ant would do it, or I don't know what Sean wants. And I'd rather see like, just do it. If it doesn't work, we fix it. But if it works, great. We did it. We move on.
Because what's the mantra of this year?
Figure it out.
It's a good thing to at least think about before like you go and ask somebody something, or just, hey, is this something I can figure out by myself? Probably.
Because I mean,
I like that.
I do it at fault, right? Like I try to like, is this something I need to go to the van to ask Sean? Like I can just figure it out. But I start to, have a toolbox of mistakes that like I should have went to talk to Sean about. So like that toolbox of mistakes like creates me talking to Sean more. So I gotta like, all right, you know what? Just start doing it. Just start figuring out on your own. You don't need advice for everything. You can just like make it happen. Because
you can always come to me for
if it doesn't work, you can just fix it. And I think what that just does, it just creates confidence on a job site. And if everybody's walking around with confidence, like I just think that's going to produce better content, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like, there's not a whole lot of details that like are like so important that like it's like, look, just pick a way of doing it and
let's see what happens.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at it and say, all right, next time maybe we'll do it a little bit different. But like it's rare that like somebody's gonna go ahead and do something and it's like, no, that's like, let's rip that out. Like it's usually super minor things. It's like, I'm not even gonna like necessarily think about too much unless you come and ask me. So it's like, if it's not like a make or break type of thing, like just pick one way or the other and do it. It's usually something so minute that doesn't necessarily matter too much. So that would be cool to see. Yeah,
I would like to see that, because there are like moments when I see like Nick just do something and like I'm like, oh wow, he just went for it. I love it. I love to see it. Like it just like shows confidence that he's confident in what he's doing, what he's going to build, what he's going to produce.
Yeah.
Everybody just feels better about yourself when you're confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love
What's something you're looking forward to this year, Catherine?
Well, I wanted to say what my goal for Anthony was.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I really want.
Should I leave now?
No. I really want to find Anthony an apprentice who he can teach his ways.
Boy.
I want to find like the young version of Anthony for Anthony to like bring up and teach and like mold into this, like new
Next
old
Anthony?
school. What? Next
Anthony.
Anthony. Yeah. Like you have this like old school way about you of doing things, and I just think that, and also you're such a good teacher. Like whenever I have a question about anything, if you think that I need to know it, you give me incredible detail, and you're always so good at explaining things, and you really take your time, and you only do it once. You only tell anybody anything
That's
once.
it.
you gotta get that one in there. But you're like a really good teacher, so I just feel like it would be a good opportunity for you to like, I don't know, get this. I don't know how we would find this person that would be like, you know, young and hungry enough. But I just think that would be so good for you, for Premier, for, you know, to have like a protege.
I would
apprentice.
I would love to have that too. And it's not that like teaching somebody like the industry or, you know, what I know. I guess my biggest fault is the eagerness that I want to teach somebody has to be less than the eagerness that they want to learn from me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the eagerness to learn from me needs to be so great that I need to see that. Like,
right.
To where if I don't see that, or if I see like laziness, or if I'm explaining something to someone and it's like going in one ear and out the other, like that's where like I get discouraged, because
right.
I don't know if it's, I'm bad at teaching. I don't know how to explain this. Like, this kid's not listening to me. What's going on? To where at the end of the day, like, no, like this kid's got to, like, if I get to work at 7:40 every day, if he show up at 7:30, show me that you want to be here. You know, if you want to ask me a question, don't ask it to me at like 1:00 in the afternoon. Ask it to me at 4:31 when we leave. I'm willing to give you 15, 20, 30 minutes of my time after work if you want that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, you know, I clock in at 8 and I clock out at 4:30, and I'm going to forget about work until the next day. Where that's where, like, if I see that, it's hard for me to pick like a candidate.
Yeah. I could totally see that would be disheartening if you're like spending all this time and extra effort like to teach someone and it's not being like reciprocated. So I think that this person, it would be a needle in a haystack kind of search to find this person. But I just feel like it would be really good.
If anything, I got maybe about 12, 13 more years till my boy's about 18, 19 years old, and we'll see what happens.
I think it would obviously be really hard to find somebody like that, but if we did find a person that you deemed worthy
of my time,
of your time, and like that person did have more eagerness to learn than, like, you know, I do think you would probably get so much satisfaction out of that. Like if somebody was
like
really
would.
like so hungry for it,
right up
you
his
would
alley.
love that.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking shop. I enjoy having conversations, right? Like the mentors that I have 2 really good mentors. And when I talk to them, I'm able to just like, you have just a flowing conversation of, you just hear like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Because he's explaining a problem that he has. And I'm like, yeah, I learned that from you, and this, that, and the other thing. And it's just so nice, but it's very rare. Like I think I met like one kid like in my little carpentry journey that was younger than me that had that. And I had such good conversations with him, and I would see that he was like picking it up, and he was taking what I said and using it. And it's like, you know what, this kid's got it. And then he went union.
Scab. Or no, wait, that's the opposite. Yeah, that would be really cool. Maybe we put that, like.
We'll vision board it. Maybe this person has to find us.
What's that thing
like maybe
called?
it's not
American Idol.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'd spin a
Anthony's
chair.
Idol.
Anthony's Idol.
Okay, that could be fun. I was thinking the person might be able to find us, but it could be like a Bachelor. We could meld all of those shows and make our own.
Yeah. Ant's definitely Simon Cowell, obviously, and I'm definitely Randy Jack.
My whole thing, like,
yeah, it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
My whole thing is like, it's like, everybody wants to say they want to be a carpenter. It's time until it's time to do carpenter shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna say like social media like hurt the industry because it like glamorizes it. Everybody thinks like, oh, I'll just buy some shiny tools, look good on camera. Now a couple pieces of wood together, and like this is being a carpenter. Like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, it seems like a nice like change of pace from like being in an office or something like that. It's like, oh, that would be so nice to be outside all the time. And it is for a long time. And then it's like, it would be kind of nice just being inside and sitting at a desk.
Yeah. I follow this teacher who works in inner city Philadelphia, and he has this whole program.
M. Jarrett guy?
Yeah.
M. Jarrett? Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got all these students who are like, they're like, I guess he has classes too, but he's like it's after hours. Like, they're doing all of this stuff. They're learning like a little bit of everything. They're learning plumbing. They're learning like everything. And these kids seem like super engaged and really like they have their own podcast where they talk about this kind of stuff. And like they seem like kids that are super engaged in the process and wanting to learn. And it's not like it's a regular high school. It's not like they're going to like a tech school to learn this kind of stuff. It's like they're seeking out this stuff on their own. And this guy's like mentoring them and like leading them in this way. And he obviously gets a ton of fulfillment out of it. So I don't know, maybe we need to like snipe one not snipe, that's not the right word.
Yeah, that's aggressive. Look into that.
Snag
venture.
one of their kids.
Yeah. No, I think
That doesn't sound good either.
No.
No.
Maybe we need to
Poach?
kidnap one of them.
Yeah,
What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah,
like a
stop,
recruiter would
stop,
poach.
just stop. Recruit. How about just
You know what I
recruit?
mean. We'll recruit one of these.
How about we take
Adolescents.
them on the next step of their journey? How about
There we
that?
go. Very good.
We need to snipe one of these kids. All right. Well, that's great. You got anything else we want to cover here? I think we're at our happy hour.
Yeah, I think we're out of Anthony time.
Yeah,
Time to go.
it's just about the weekend.
Yeah.
You got 19 more minutes to hang
All
out
right.
with me here.
I'll give you the best 19 minutes of your life.
Can't wait. You want to go sit in the diesel?
Yeah, let's run it off.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week. And thanks for joining us as always.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you, Anthony.
And till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.